Welcome back. In this installment, we're going to try using one of the demo apps that are included by default with any trial. The one we're going to go into is the Antique Appraisal app. So let's click on that right now. And as you can see, it doesn't have any workflow documents in it, so no one has done anything in this yet. And since I'm logged in as Mycroft Kite, and I happen to be an administrator, and I also happen to be the manager of this particular app, I have access to the app settings. So let's take a look at that first. The thing I want to draw your attention to is the user role assignment. Because when you roll out a new app, if there are any workflow roles, you will need to assign users into those roles. So this one has a few roles in here, appraiser 1. So let's assign that to someone. So I'm just going to type the letter A, and we have L. Adams shows up. I guess he's the only person who starts with the letter A. And L. Adams is now going to be appraiser 1. Appraiser 2 is going to be Doris Dale. And I'll click on Reader, and it says all application members have this role, which means that anyone who's a member of this application can at least open and read documents, even if they can't edit them or do any actual workflow actions on them. As the submitter, it actually allows anyone who is a member of the application to essentially submit new documents. And the owner is already specified Mycroft Kite, which happens to be me. So let's get back to the main screen of this app again. So let's see, I'm going to submit a new inventory item. And this is intended for some kind of a store or antique shop where a newly submitted item was going to have to undergo 2 appraisals before we can actually figure out what the final price should be. So I'm going to click on New Item. And boom, a form appears and I need to fill it out. So what's this item going to be? Well, it says going to be antique brass telescope. Acquired by, well, it was acquired by me, let's say. And I did this, let's say, last week. And it cost me $240 to do this. And then I provide a more detailed description. And I'm not going to say a lot about this. Brass telescope circa 1890 with Clark optics. Oh, in this particular form, we need to upload an image, and I happen to have one handy. And if there were any other supporting documents I wanted to upload, let's see, something, let's just say some generic file, let's say like an Excel spreadsheet, I can just upload that as well. So I've pretty much entered all the information. So I'm going to click on this to complete the fields and say submit for appraisal. And there it is, antique brass telescope, acquired on February 3rd for $240. The retail value is pretty much going to be what we come up with as the final price for it. That hasn't been done yet. And its status is that it's on the first appraisal. So remember a little while ago, we assigned Al Adams as the first appraiser. So we're now going to switch over and log in as Al Adams. And then we're going to see what the user interface looks like for him. And he's not an administrator, he's just a regular user. So I go over here and I log off. Sign in as Al Adams. Okay, now we're logged in as Al Adams. And if I look at my tasks, we'll see, yep, this brass antique telescope 1 is waiting for us. And I could access it just by clicking on this, or I could do it in the more normal way of just opening up the Antique Appraisal app and clicking on it here. So I'm doing, since this is a 4-step process, and the first step is done. I'm now on step 2. It shows 25% done. And my instructions are to fill in the appraiser 1 comments here and the appraiser 1 value, which is over here. So I'm going to do that right now. Comments aren't that interesting, but that's not the point. We're going to say this is worth $450. And notice that I can't edit any of the other fields. The person who's doing the appraisal in this particular workflow can only enter appraiser comments and their appraiser one estimated value. So now that we've done that, we will say appraisal one is complete. And now it's moved on to the next step, second appraisal. So at this point, I'm going to log in as Doris because she's the person who does that step. She's the appraiser number 2. Okay, if we look at my tasks, yep, antique telescope waiting for Doris. So let's click on that. And now she has to enter in her comments. And she's going to be even more gung-ho about this. She's going to say it's worth $500. And that completes appraisal number 2. So now I'm going to log in as Mycroft again because I think the next step goes to him. Okay, we're back at Mycroft. And yep, antique appraisal or antique brass telescope is waiting on me. So I'll click on that. And now I can edit a lot of the fields again because as the manager of this particular app, I can do all of these things. And also I am the performer of this step. I can see both the appraiser 1 comments and the appraiser 2 comments. Notice that if you remember before when I was logged in as Doris, I could enter the appraiser 2 comments, but I could not see the appraiser 1 comments. That was done intentionally so that it wouldn't affect the valuation that Doris would do. But now since I'm actually doing the role that is going to be done by the owner of the company, I can see all of the comments by all of the appraisers. So I'm going to come up with the final value and say, well, 450, let's just split the difference and say our value will be 475. We want to make some profit off of this, so let's say 600. Okay, there we go, 600. And we'll do our checkboxes and say it's completed. In the antique brass telescope, the evaluation is done. Retail value is going to be 600, and it is done. So that's pretty much it. That's how regular users would log in and do the workflow tasks that are waiting for them. Thank you for listening. And in the next installment, we're going to start using App Builder to create something.